Manasi Pitkar, welcome to the Preconstruction Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Garrett.
Wonderful. And for anybody that does not know Manasi, she has been on the podcast twice before. This podcast is about sustainability. She is the Senior Director of Preconstruction at McCarthy Builders in Orange County, California. Out west. We all love you out west. We really do.
Thank you.
Cool. So sustainability. I talked to you briefly about this in another podcast, but you literally it was the peak of the iceberg. There's so much to discuss. I wanted to get you back on and delve a little bit more into it. I know that you're a member of the DBIA, the Design Build Institute of America. I know that
Mhm.
it's something you're really passionate about. Um, for anybody that doesn't know, and for the junior folks, what is sustainability? And I want you to concentrate, please, on the pre-construction side. I know it's a broader term, but how does pre-construction address the sustainability in design or pre-construction?
Uh, I think pre-construction is the best place to address sustainability goals. And sustainability is basically about being a good steward of the planet that we received, right? So it's our responsibility as good citizens, as good people, to pass over the same, legacy that we've received. And what sustainability does is by making, small changes allows us to build better buildings that are more energy efficient, have better local sustainable materials, reducing the carbon footprint, just giving back more, I would say, is sustainability.
Love it. And one thing I'm going to pick up on what you said is the small changes. I believe, I mean, everyone hears it in the media. We're looking to decrease carbon footprint by X amount, and it seems too big. But I think if small changes are made, can incrementally get there quicker. What do you
Absolutely.
think are the smallest changes within construction? If you think about carbon footprint, waste, biomass materials, logistics, what do you think are achievable in the next 2 or 3 years, and the ones that we should concentrate on?
I think all of what you mentioned is achievable. It just depends on what your specific project is looking for, right? I mean, if your project is has carbon footprint reduction goals, then that's a different project that you're looking at than a net zero, right? I mean, it has to be thought about holistically. You can't just say, I just want to build a net zero building and that's it. Everything has to work holistically.
Yeah.
The whole design has to come together to achieve those goals. But whatever your goal is has to be thought of at the inception of the design phase. So now we're seeing that all of these energy goals are being written into the RFP. And now it's building code in California. You cannot build a building that doesn't have sustainability goals in it. Then you have organizations like LEED and green building and the living building challenge that are also driving these changes in the industry and almost forcing people to think about a different way, a better way to build and be better stewards of this planet. So if the one of the requirements is a LEED platinum building, that comes with its own set of energy efficiencies that are required by the building performance in order to get the LEED platinum accreditation. And all of that is going to be worked into the design starting from the word go on. There's things like using certain materials that kind of lowers the thermal mass of the building, or avoiding placing the windows on a certain elevation that's the most exposed to the sun and the heat, that reduces the loads on your air conditioning system, or positioning your PV panels, for example, to make the most of the sunlight that shines on those panels, right? So all of those strategies, when they're woven through the fabric of the project, they work together holistically to achieve the goals of the project to be sustainable and efficient.
Brilliant. And whenever the client comes to you, because I know the majority of your work is design build on the healthcare and higher education space, what are they asking for? Oh, you mentioned a few of them. What about building materials and biomass materials? Is that something that you think, are they accessible? Can you get them? Can you get them at a decent price? Is it manufactured close enough, or do you have to go to Scandinavia for it? How does that all work?
Uh, a lot of them are accessible,
Good.
and the design team drives those decisions along with the whole construction team, including the pre-construction folks. Obviously, when you vet out, what is the certification that you're going after? And there's like a requirement for the materials being sourced from, anywhere from within 50 to 500 miles of your project job site. So sometimes, those things are achievable, other times they aren't. So then if, for example, say the skin has a component that comes from Scandinavia and that's the highlight of the building, then you maybe that's leave that part alone, but go chase other sustainable material that kind of sits well with the Scandinavian material. And, then you come up with a holistic design, because we still want architecture to thrive. We don't want to build plain old boxes. So there is a little bit of give and take, right? There's levers that can be adjusted, even with the sustainability, like, hey, maybe this 20% of the facade is not going to be local sustainable material, but the 80%, the rest of it is. Or look at all the cool jute chairs, for I'm just making this up, that are inside the building, right? So there's obviously different levers that can be adjusted to obtain and achieve the goals that you set to achieve.
Yeah, it's a
It's
balancing
just that
act.
you have a clear picture going into the project that these are the goals that I want to achieve. I want a net zero building, or I want a living building challenge certified building. And then those conversations early on help the design team to design what is, what the intent is. And then the design team works lockstep with the pre-construction and operations teams to, figure out how that is achievable at the budget that we have, because budgets are reality. We only have a set amount of money to build with, and this is when the whole team comes together. And that alignment, if you can achieve 15 of the goals, maybe you can achieve 11. So let's, as a team, pick out what the top ones are for this team to achieve. So those are the conversations that need to be had at the very beginning of any project.
Yeah, I mean, we talk all the time about collaboration. I mean, collaboration is paramount, but when you think about sustainability and the design, I mean, collaboration just has to go up 2 or 3 levels, which is really important. And then you think about waste as well. I mean, waste is a big thing. I mean, the pressures on pre-construction procurement within the general contractors, it gets intense when it comes to waste, because you've got to be as detailed as possible when you're ordering or procuring these materials.
Yes. And a lot of that is we do it with our subcontractors here at McCarthy, who are just as important to our team as, the designers, the consultants, our trade partners, because they're the ones that are going to help us how to get creative, how to get lean, how to right size, anything, be it material or equipment. So I think that collaboration, not only within the trifecta of the owner, designer, and the construction company, is important, but it's far beyond that too. You need all the consultants, all your trade partners, all of us together drive to the same goal in order to be lean and to minimize waste.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. The engineers and getting the subcontractors on earlier and earlier seems to be the
Mhm.
hot topic right now.
Yeah.
Listen, that's been incredible. Is there anything else sustainability wise that you're seeing that's exciting you, that it's an important change that's getting you up in the morning? Because I can hear it in your voice that you're passionate about it.
I think the best thing that has happened is now that we can't build without, PV panels in California, even if it's a residential project, if it's a house, that house has to have panels enough for generating the electricity needs of that one household. So I think that's a big step. And California always gets things started and then it's a trickle down effect for the rest of the country. So that's very exciting from my point of view.
Brilliant. I couldn't agree more. Well, listen, Manasi, as always, I know you've been a massive contributor to the Pre-Construction Podcast, but we want to say thank you.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed this conversation.